dialogue. We gon' tell the truth, we ain't scared like a lot of y'all. Matters who they are, do we bow? No, not at all. Dropping bombs on this wicked world, so it gotta fall underground. Underground dialogue. We gon' tell the truth, we ain't scared like a lot of y'all. Matters who they are, do we bow? No, not at all. Dropping bombs on this wicked world, so it gotta fall. From the industry to the Oval Office, we expose the darkest motives of them all and disclose what the protocol is. Thinking and moving logical, stopping every maneuver possible, and apologizing for truth is not optional. We gon' help you with what you go through, reshape and mold you, and sweep over them weak lies they told you. If you living with no clue, we gon' deprogram the old you, and you get to keep your soul.
What's going on, man? It's your big brother K. Man, y'all are tuned in again to another episode of the Underground Dialogue podcast for the name speaks for itself. Man, I'm here with my brother Keith Stove, and we got a special guest tonight because what we getting ready to talk about tonight is, like, in my opinion, so needed because we are at war as black men and women in this country, really around the world, but particularly in America. We are at war, man. We act like we hate each other. So I got a message from this young lady, and she said, you ought to do a show about relationships over 40, how difficult it is. And I was like, yeah, that's a good idea, and we'll go into different ranges and other topics as well. So we have Miss Esha Kay with us tonight. How you feeling, Queen?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Oh, I know. We appreciate you for putting the topic in our ear. We always encourage anybody who got something to say, an idea that they can get the podcast, and if it's something that we align with, we love to talk about it. So, what made you decide that this was something that you felt like needed to be discussed? Just personal experience, just what you're seeing. What got you into that thought process?
I feel like the type of person it's coming from. I feel like, we hear from different people and stuff like that, but I think their mentality I don't think people have heard your type of mentality. And I just say that.
Old mentality?
No.
That's one. Okay.
Right. No, just a real man that ain't, I hear a lot of podcasts and I don't know, they don't interest me. I really want to hear your perspective on relationships and what you think. And I think, a lot of people will want to hear your side.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very complex scenario because a lot of times what we say and believe in and what we live can be different things, but so because we all striving to be our best. I never act like I'm this expert on any of that, but most of what I know, Keystone, anybody who's watching know, it just comes from what you lived and what you seen and now the mindset that you was in when you was 17, 18 years old dealing with relationships shouldn't be nowhere close to where you are now based on what you learned. So
and the example you've seen.
That's the biggest thing because even as messed up as it is right now, we just products of our environment.
Yeah.
A lot of people who have been through things and a lot of men and women who think a certain way, they think that way because of what they grew up around, and now in this day and age they think that way because of what they being influenced by.
Yeah.
You got all these TV shows, we gotta keep up with the Kardashians, we gotta watch Basketball Wives, we gotta watch these shows about dope dealing if you the guys, and all these different things that are raising us instead of parents and the good principles that's raising us.
Yeah.
So, you got anything to add there?
I was gonna say, like, I guess some of the examples we seen growing up on TV. Yeah, like you got the Huxtables, you got Different World, a lot of family orientated, even Full House and stuff such. Right. But now it's sort of like we don't see really too much at all anything with a family, and it's not like family is even being supported.
It's dysfunction.
Yeah.
It's what's being promoted is dysfunction.
Right now, family is a woman and 2 kids, a woman and a kid and her mama. Right. It's not a family. Right.
Yeah. That dysfunction is real because, again, we went from that family structure. You can go back to good times.
Exactly.
You can go back to the Jeffersons. Shows that came long even before the Cosby Show, where any black families they would present it as being just that, being a family. So now we're in a situation where everything is just ratchet and just wild and insane. What made you say focus on the over 40 aspect of it? You know, just out of curiosity.
Just because a lot of people that I see that's over 40 have so much dysfunction in their relationships. And like almost everybody I talk to, including the married people, it's just like we just here for the kids or, you know, just different things. And it's like you shouldn't have to live your life like that.
Man, it's like ain't nobody, I won't say nobody, but the majority of the people that I know, not everybody, some exceptions, but it's like nobody is really happy.
No.
And it's crazy to me. It's like I've seen it for years. Like you got homies that you talk to, friends that you've been knowing all, and when anytime the conversation of their relationships come up, it's always, oh man, man, she tripping on it. You know, and I'm sure women get the same thing on the other side. I point more so to, like I said, product of your environment, but also an agenda. There's an agenda against black families. It's a war being waged against black families, black love, black men, black women, that has created a lot of this division that we see between us right now. And people say, well, what you mean agenda? We just talked about the TV shows. You know, anytime you see these TV shows where you see these women that are living this lifestyle that's kind of, like I say, ratchet or independent of the thought of I don't need a man, and anytime that's promoted, any kind of structure, then that is empowering young ladies to have that mindset. Nothing wrong with a woman being empowered, but what are you empowering them into? And the same thing on the male side when you talk about just the pimp mentality, or I don't need men, all these women is hoes, and you know, that same thing has been pushed through music, you know, rap music all these years. So both sides are 100% complicit in the downfall of the other side. But at the root of it is an agenda. See, when you're talking about a world that's on its way out, you know, this current world and how it's constructed, it's on the way out. That's why we're seeing all of this different stuff coming from all this debauchery and different angles. So when the world is on its way out, the person who's the orchestrator of this world, they're doing everything they can to do two things: either keep it going or come to the conclusion that it's going out, I'm gonna take as many of these with me as I can. So we have to get more proactive, in my opinion, in raising our young people and instilling in their mind the way to treat each other. You know, you got a little son, you know, you teach, hey man, open the door for that man. Why? Because it's the right thing to do. What if she gonna say thank you? Okay, no problem. You did what you're supposed to do. You can't, you know. So we got a lot of work to do in terms of that. A lot of people, this is my opinion, by the time you get to 35, 40 years old, you have been through so many different types of relationships. And when you've been through all these different types of relationships, a man or a woman can become sour towards a man or a woman based on the experiences, but never thinking of the fact that, well, you're the one who picked these people. You focus more on your selection process than, you know, worrying about how messed up all women are and how all men are. So go ahead.
It's like they get jaded, you know. You get certain age, it's like unrealistic expectations. It's like you get a certain age and you think you're going up in what you believe to be. Like my experience is so good. I've noticed this. I know cut through the bullshit. I know this and that and third. But one thing about most relationships is you like to grow into it like a new relationship, like experience new things with a person. Sometimes you get more connected with a person that you do stuff that you have never done with, and then a certain time when you get a certain age, you might have done all of that shit. Right. So it's really like, okay, now
and when that happens, then it breaks down to okay, do I like this person? Because it's a lot of stuff we could already know. You've been to Florida, y'all been. Where we go again, but I'm enjoying it more because I'm with you. You know, I have fun when I'm with her, but she was tripping, crying, and playing the whole time. So it all depends on that compatibility level. But also too, when you get to a point where people have been with different people and now they set the standard where their selection process is jacked up.
Yeah.
But a lot of us make the mistake too of not taking in where we are messed up at, you know, because we get set in our ways.
Right.
So now I'm bringing old stuff into the new house.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm expecting, like you said, I had these expectations of how I want to be treated based on what the last person did.
Yeah.
You know, and that's that to me. That don't even start. That starts long before you hit 40 because you were already built up this whole little reserve of animosity and hate and doubt and all this crap in your mind. And like I said, you taking it into the new person. Have you seen that or lived that any of that before? Just going through those situations, the past and the present. Because I mean, the dudes do it too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I have, but I would think at 40, you know, you trying to like wind all that stuff down, get rid of all that, and now you really, whoever you with now, you know, this gonna be it, and you know, got yourself together. You would think,
nah,
yeah.
it ain't always because people don't mature.
Yeah.
And see, that's like when we 17, 18, 20, 22, 25, this particular club that we all hang out with at, okay, it consists of those type of people. When you hit 28, close to 30, you start migrating to different kind of clubs.
Right.
You go to with the older people of that. And by the time you 45, you go into the hole in the walls,
The Red Rooster.
and you chilling, right?
Or lounges or something.
Exactly. So, but the difference is, it's times where that same cat that's your age and you've been knowing them all your life, or that same woman that's your age, they still at the younger club. They still at those spots. You pass by me, man, she's still hanging out right there. Yeah. So it's like we become shaped and we become products of our maturity levels. See, if we not growing, then we stand stagnant in those same spots. So the key thing you said is you would think that by that, because the natural progression is, I'm not interested in that. You know, look at them. They, you know, I don't want to go nowhere where a fight might break out.
Right.
Somebody might pull a pistol out or something like that. I don't want to be in that place. That ain't to say the older people don't have the moments too.
Right.
But they live fewer.
Now can we get real?
All right.
We talking 40-year-old men, right? How many 40-year-old men want 40-year-old women?
None. Not a handful.
So we gotta start there.
Yeah.
And you say what you were saying, like certain people be in the club in that younger club. Could it be older men in there trying to buy watches and drives for them younger girls? You know what I'm saying? Trying to pick them up. So you know, it's a disconnect a lot of times, because we do see like a 40-year-old woman, you don't see her all the time trying to find a 20-year-old man or something to that extent. So she's looking for that 40-year-old person that got his stuff together, got his job right where he needed, his 401k is ready to be ready, but he's at
the teeny bop club.
He's at Carrington's.
Right.
and then, you know, that's that just selective targeting, because what you said, that does represent a nice percentage. You know, there are a few men that have grown out of that to, like, man, I hear older cats, man, I don't want no young woman, man. I ain't got time for no young woman. I ain't got the energy for no young woman. You know, so but if you selectively targeting, when you got an older guy that's hunting younger women, he's hunting a young woman for the aesthetics, the look. You know, he not necessarily targeting a young woman or wanting to hunt a young woman because he's interested in her mind necessarily. He's like, oh, she fine. That's what it is for them.
And they train them.
You know, yeah, you're right. And in some cases, they train them because they may have a dissatisfaction with women in their age group because of the whole setting their ways, you know, and vice versa. You know, I don't like to put stuff just all on the women. It's like we all think like this. So so that's a good point when you go from that angle. But the problem is the ratios of the good aspects are way under the bad side, the bad sides of the bad. But we got to work on fixing ourselves, then work on fixing each other. And the problem now is men and women are giving up on each other. we at a point now where we like, it's you got the passport, brother.
Yeah.
Get your passport. Get the hell out of here.
It's marketed. It's marketed to do that now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
even though like you go on social, that's why I don't like really doing that too much on social media because it's marketed.
Yeah.
You can tell it's people that building podcasts and shows, TV, strictly to go one gender after the next gender, and we can't build like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And somebody somewhere in the middle's got to say, okay, look. We fucked up on here, we fucked up over there, but where we gonna be in the middle because we can't go without each other.
That's the
Right.
agenda.
Yeah.
That's the agenda. See, when you talk about TV shows, when you talk about songs, rap songs, whatever, R&B song is the man is expressing how much hate he got for women, and the woman expressing how much she don't need a man. That's agenda driven, and it takes us off the original premise that when God created us, man and woman, He created us for each other.
Right.
It's like there's no, if you can think of any two things that go together. I don't care if you're talking about cereal and milk, peanut butter and jelly, or fish and some water. There are no two things that are made and created to go together more than a man and a woman. So how did we get to this point where all of a sudden the two most important things that God created for each other are now this far apart?
And what do you think is in the middle that didn't push that to do? It's a hidden hand behind that.
Oh, without a doubt. That's why y'all don't hear the word agenda a lot tonight. You know, see, the black man and the black woman, we the original people on the planet. Nobody came before us. And all others come out of us. So, but we don't control this world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the individuals who control this world, they know the history. They know it better than us in some cases. So there's a resentment. There's a hatred. There's an enmity that is something in their heart that's like, why them?
Yeah.
You know, so again, when we talked about, we know we on our way out, so we going to take everybody with us. That's the best way to do it. There's always been that decree to destroy the black family, kill the male,
that's what I was about
spare
to
the
say.
female.
It's like this 2K1, 2K whatever, 2K3 now. Because before then it was it was the prison industrial system. Before then it was the welfare thing where they kick them out of the house
And crack cocaine and all that. The guns. See the efforts that are being carried out to destroy the black family are a form of genocide. It's genocide, you know. And the problem is not so much that the effort is being made, because we know the individuals who are making that effort, you know, that's what they got to do. They got to do what they think is going to work for them. The problem is that we blindly walking right into it. We follow it. You know, so we have to be made to understand. Look, bro, I don't care what you see on this podcast, that website, that TV show. Never lose focus of the reality that we as black men and women, we cannot survive without each other. It's impossible. We're gonna die if we don't have each other. So all this hate and feeling away, oh, these women, no, you looking at the branches of the tree, but you're not going to the root of why, how it got like that.
And I'm starting to notice a lot of men are saying, I don't feel like even dealing with that, you know, because it's work gonna need to be done on both parties. But a lot of times men supposed to be the leaders, the example. But if you don't even feel like that, that comes with too much. I'm gonna go over here and that. Then that's making holes and potholes into where we need to actually start to the rebuilding process.
And I want to get your opinion on this too, just to build on what Keisto just said, because you say men don't even have it in their heart to make. And again, I keep drilling on that's part of the agenda, because we have been made to love everything else except our women. Like if you had an old car, you know, man, I'm gonna rebuild it. You tell your home, I'm gonna put a new engine in here, man. I'm doing myself. You got everything on the ground, and you take so much pride in rebuilding that car, but we don't take that kind of pride in rebuilding each other. You know, all these material things that have gained more value. So, do you see that, or what do you think about? What do you look for if you as a woman in that age demographic? not to say you just got binoculars on look what I do, but what do you look qualities you look for when you even think about this is a man I want to spend the rest of my life with?
First, I want to say a lot of people don't heal or take time to heal from previous relationships. They just try to jump into, you know, and that's I think where the men come in, and I don't have time for that because you haven't even taken the time to heal from your previous, and now you're putting all that stuff on the new man.
They say the best way to get over an old relationship is get over a new one.
I mean, that may be true, but
on the base level,
but take the time to heal,
Exactly. I get you.
because I asked, like the dude I was talking to before, my question always to him was like, am I doing something wrong? Like, what's wrong? You know, whatever. If things aren't going right, I'm a big communicator, and he was not. Like, and it's rocket like that. I can't really, you know, because it's like nothing never gets solved because if you don't communicate and talk about it. But his thing was like, you're not gonna tell me I'm fat or I'm gaining weight because of what might come with that. But I'm not like that. Tell me because so I can go to the gym. But a lot of women are like that. They will take it as criticism. Are you talking about me? But I mean, that's I look for an honest man first of all, a communicator. You know, somebody that's willing to do the work. Because I don't like arguing. I don't like confusion. None of that crap. You know, I just want a happy life. You know, and let's just do that. Whatever we need to talk about or discuss, let's do it. We don't need to go to sleep mad. You know, but people don't do that because they still in their ways. 17, 20, 30. But like you said, I mean, like I said earlier, you would think at 40, all that stuff is gone.
But how many times do you know people that say, I got a problem? That they really just say, you know what, I am a bad communicator. I do this. Everybody think they perfect. And then a lot of times with this social media, they think they're a celebrity too now. And so it's a lot of people just, I want to say, like big-headed a lot, just conceited emotionally a lot of times, and they feel like, well, if you ain't on my program, it ain't no program with us.
People don't address their trauma, just like she said to us, and that's a tough thing because some people don't even know that they traumatized, bro. And that's really what it was. Sometimes, man, you going through life, and like you say, like, man, ain't nothing wrong with me. It's everybody else. But you having the same problems with everybody. You have the same trust issues. Cycle of the same situation. It can't be you met this dude in 2013. You met him in 2016. You met, and it's the same ending, same type of problem. So we got to be to the point where we can be honest, like you said. You know, it take a big woman or man to look at their partner and say, what do I need to do? That was big, you know. But also it boils down to the selection process and taking the time to try to really find out how that person is, because you know everybody put on their best face in the beginning. So in the beginning, it probably was y'all was talking like crazy, you know, everything was wide open, and then one little thing may have triggered to shut him down in certain aspects of the relationship, to where now you're like, man, what's wrong with you? You know, whatever, you know.
And these days, a lot of people ain't even forgiving. You know, in order to get to the next level, first you gotta look at a person like you look at yourself. Like you just gotta say, man, I ain't perfect. She can make a mistake in out too. I make a mistake in out too. But in order to grow, you gotta be able to forgive. Everybody ain't gonna walk into this earth 100% perfect, do everything that you want to do all the time without having to tell them nothing. Just you know, you should have known by the way I am that this is what I want, and this and the third. People gonna make mistakes. You gotta just make sure their character is straight. Make sure their integrity is in order. Make sure that you know their priorities are straight. But then you gotta be able to let them make mistakes at the same time and forgive them, as long as it ain't no crazy mistakes. You know, but I noticed that a lot of times relationships, people got the cutoff game like.
Well, you know, because too, people have been through so much that now you putting on a hard face, but you really, your cutoff game is like that because you're really trying to protect your heart. Like, I don't want to get hurt again. I don't want to feel like that anymore. So it's just zero tolerance. So that's the thing. We got to know coming in, or have an idea coming in, to the best of our ability, who this person is that we move forward with, and decide if we willing. Like, again, if you looking to buy a house, you're gonna look at this house and say, well, you know, it needs a little work. let me see, well, the foundation kind of messed up. Okay, what else? Need a roof. You know, you assessing all this, and then you make a decision to say, do I want to invest in that to do that?
Yeah.
That's how I gotta be with people. You know, well, you know, she a little hot-headed sometimes.
She on probation.
Yeah, she on probation. She burnt some toaster. She can even boil the water right, but I think I can work with it. You know, and then you the same with these guys. You know, because a lot of these dudes out here, they sensitive. They mama's boys. They lazy. You know, they don't have the ability to take criticism. Like it's just like you say, a woman might, man, it's a lot of these dudes, man, you can't say nothing to them because they just weak like that.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of them come in wanting you to be their mama. You know, because coddle them and treat them like that. You know, instead of taking that initiative. So, you know, the difference between a man and a male, you know, comes in the form. A male has to grow into being a man.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a female got to grow into being a woman. And love ain't easy.
Yeah.
You know, everybody tell me love. No, love is a
it's
process.
Work.
It's work.
Love is insanity.
Yeah. Hey, man.
You loving somebody more than yourself, that's insane, but it works out at the end. You know, that's what love is.
If the people want it.
Yeah.
And sometimes, you know, we make the mistake of feeling like you have to force it to work. And you can't force it to work. You know, you have to realize some days it's like, you know what, we tried.
Yeah.
We tried. You know, I don't hate you, I'm not mad at you, you know, I hope you don't hate or mad at me, but sometimes it's just not meant.
Yeah.
You know?
True.
And I always used to have this thing, because it seemed like, this back when I was in my 20s, man. I had, this was 5 years ago when I was in my 20s.
I got you.
But
that's when you was pimping.
I used to have, don't talk about pimping. We ain't gonna tell y'all what street we on. But at the end of the day, I used to go through this thing all the time where every time I would break up with a female, when she would get with a new dude, she would start displaying all the qualities with the new dude that I was trying to instill in her. So I came to the conclusion, I was like, you know what? I must be training. You know, it must be my purpose and role with her must have just been to just give her whatever that I gave her, because certain things are on a time release with certain people. You could tell somebody something today and they just totally reject it and ignore it, and then 5 years later they're doing it. It activates in them, you know, but it wasn't meant for you to benefit from it or for me to benefit. It was like, hey man, that was your role with her.
A lot of times they just get comfortable with you, so they run that down. Most of the time, I notice in most relationships, that's in the first couple of weeks is when they get their best foot. Like, that's when they doing it.
Yeah, that's why I say the early presentation is a monster. That's when I see. I watch the crime channel all the time, and that's when you see the story starts out the same every time. It's always, well, in the beginning he was so nice, and we used to go for walks, and next thing you know, he's standing over while she sleep with a knife, just doing his hip.
He made me do it. That's it.
Just looking at her, just, you know. So I
kicking
mean,
a baby.
The smartest, I guess, the best advice I can give anybody is don't get caught up in those early moments of the relationship. That's not the real person that you're dealing with at all. You wait it out, ride it out, and then just because sooner or later a person got to be who they gonna be. It ain't nowhere around you being who you gonna be. It's like, because one day you're gonna be sitting there chilling, and this fool just gonna haul off I know and just go, what's wrong with you? I'm tired of this shit.
Wait a minute.
You ain't nothing. So you just gotta wait it out and be patient, but to not ever give up on each other as men and women. Do you have conversations with young girls? Because the next question I want to ask you is that what I see a lot of times is a lot of young girls who their thinking is influenced by older women who have messed up viewpoints as well. So they telling they, don't you never let no nigga do that, you know, they on that mode.
And so, he ain't not paying for something.
If he ain't giving you no money, do you have conversations with young ladies like presenting the opposite of that and kind of?
I do, and actually, because I wasn't taught.
Yeah.
So the way I am now, I guess I formed myself because I wasn't taught, and my best friend and I were talking about, like, we didn't get taught sex and what to do, and we didn't get taught none of that. So I wish there were classes or something that people can take, as a mother, because I think the kids do come up and either they teach themselves or they learn from other people or TV or rap songs or whatever, and that's how a lot of corruption comes in as we're growing up. So I feel like, I don't know what it's going to take, but we need something. Because these kids, I don't know.
Examples. That's what I say. There's examples. Because it wasn't no men in my family when I was getting raised. It was like maybe 2, and both of them died before we was in high school. But I had women that basically showed me from their perspective of what they believe that a woman supposed to be taught. Of how you supposed to treat a woman or whatever. But then I had, my dad and I had like, corner to tell me how you supposed to treat a woman. So I had to go right in the middle somewhere and learn how to say, okay, I know how the woman wants to be treated, and I know how they say it's okay to what you're supposed to do. But then it was somebody taking the initiative to actually put some work in and say, okay, if I really say I care for this person or I care for somebody, they should know it through my actions. And just because I might have pride and ego, and sometimes I might want something to be displayed in front of others, because that's childish stuff. You know what I mean? And we're here talking about like 40-year-old people, which they're supposed to be out their way.
Not always.
But it seems like, what's some of the biggest things you've seen in 40-year-old people that you dealt with that stood out? You're like, man, this is getting ridiculous. It's like it's going worse than going better.
Like not wanting to take accountability.
Accountability is a big thing.
It's big. It's real big.
Why though? What was it? Because that word has exploded over the last 4 or 5 years.
Yep, accountability and entitlement.
It's like, what is it? Why we just had this thing like we feel like, I guess a suit of armor. Like if I humble myself, now I'm weak. What do you look at it like that, or?
I don't. Everybody should take accountability. Like when I ask the question, what can I do better, or what am I doing wrong?
That's accountability.
People don't do that. And I apologize. And I've always heard people don't apologize. It's always my fault. Well, no, because if I'm doing this, as long as you let me know, and if you're not telling me, then I can't apologize or take accountability. But that's the thing. People have to communicate, because if you don't, you don't know.
That's it. And examples like Keystone said, young people are gonna particularly be what they see. You're gonna grow up to be what it is you see. So I think the responsibility falls on us. We can't even just beat them up behind how they are, because I look at it like, well, who they learn from. And if they say, well, what he got it from the TV, they got it. Okay, but who put them in front of the TV, and who allowed them to listen to that type of stuff? So at the end of the day, all the generations have some type of claim to be responsible for any of the downfalls of the generations after them. We just got to get to the point where we connect these dots, because we in bad shape. Straight up, man. We take pride in hating each other as black men and women, man, and it just plays into the enemy's hands and puts us in this position that we in right now. And it's starting early. It ain't waiting till the 18, 19. It's starting at 5, 6, 7 years old.
So who's like? Let's say this. So like when I grew up, the radio, we watched videos and all this stuff, but it was like 3 different types of hip hop. We had Queen Latifah, we had positive hip hop, we had black righteous hip hop, we had gangster hip hop, we had kid and play hip hop. You know what I mean? So you've seen the black woman being exalted. We had R&B still. You know what I mean? So like now it's like they only produce nationally. Like the stuff that's really pumped nationally is one type of female rap. And then one type of male rap. Even like I stopped watching even the award shows, because I don't even know half of them no more, because it's strictly that one type. And you know what I'm talking about? So it's like, okay, so if this is publicly pushed, how do we get them away from viewing that and saying, okay, like that's the goal? Because what they do is they deck them in all kind of gold and accomplishments, and man, you're doing this thing because you're saying these crazy stuff, and now you pumped up. Like the crazy stuff now is the best stuff. Like the craziest stuff. But anyway, so I was like, How do we get that away? Like, what's the way you can, I guess, popularize not the foolishness, the most foolish, like a crash out mission in every form.
It's gonna be hard.
Is that
And
like
that's
mama
another
job,
way that they're
dad job?
corrupting our kids.
Yeah.
With that.
Agenda. That's that word
Yeah.
again. That's everything you're saying. It speaks to that agenda, and there are things that they dangle out in front of our young people to make them believe that those are the things that give them worth and value. So if I'm arguing with you, first thing we do is say, "Oh, you just mad because you broke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just mad because I'm getting money. You just mad because you don't look good like me." Whatever the argument is, and you just mad because I'm successful and I'm on the road, and and people are not mad at that or envious about that at all. People are concerned about the direction that your lifestyle, your behavior may be taking other young people. You can do whatever the hell you want to do to yourself, but if my 12-year-old daughter comes in my house and she's emulating that type of behavior, now I'm scared to death. You know, when my son comes in the house and wearing pink and looking all sissified because he's seeing these so-called rappers do, now I'm scared to death. So these are all part of the agenda, again, to destroy us from the root.
Yeah.
And we have to fight against that. Now, a lot of times people feel like it's impossible to do because part of their effort to fight and put that agenda out there is powered by money and the machine that they have, because they can advertise and promote this stuff worldwide, and here we are down here trying to just tit for tat on some little stuff. But if everybody that we can get in contact with adopts that mindset, man, or just like-minded people, there's a whole lot of people that think like this, think like us, and we just push back, man, because we're gonna lose our children and our future behind. It's nonsense, man. It's nonsense. It has a greater pull on them than we do. You know,
because they're pulling them more. It's like
it's exposed more. You see it more. You know, people gonna be what they see. So if I can't, like you was talking about the different types of rap that was out. Okay, conscious rap used to play on the radio. Back in the day, it was balanced. Now you can't find a conscious record on a mainstream level, and if you do, I mean, it's a needle in a haystack. So all of that has been weeded out, and they pushing this stuff out front to destroy. Music has been weaponized. Entertainment has been weaponized. So when we're in that situation, it's like, man, who are the target of the weapon? Who's in the scope of the weapon? Your babies is in the scope of the weapon. But the saddest part of it is that it's not just influencing the young. It's influencing 35, 40-year-olds too. And it's a shame to see a 45, 48-year-old woman or dude basically repeating and becoming the same character you see on some of these reality shows, which really not even reality.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, but that's who's shaping our thought process, man. You know, so we got Esha Kay in here, man, and we just not talking about relationships so far. We just talking about the threat of black love. You know, that's going out here, man. This is a war, but I got a song called Secret War that I did, and one of the lines I said was, how can you fight a war when you don't even know you in one? So what we dealing with is being a situation where war is being waged on us, and we don't even realize it. We thinking it's fun. We just living life, we turn it up. You know, so we got to fix that. Have you ever been married before?
No.
Okay, so you've never been married. Okay, but I ain't gonna go into that part of the question, but I'll say this here: marriage and being in a long-term relationship, I would assume they're pretty similar. I would assume they're pretty similar as far as you might live with the person or whatever. So it's kind of like all the ins and outs of that anyway.
You just don't have the paper.
Yeah, you just don't have the official.
But the paperwork brings expectations,
right?
That don't come with long-term relationships.
Right. You feel entitled.
Bob. Bingo.
And then if the paperwork ain't there, I can go.
Right.
I catch y'all later. I'm out. I'm leaving. You leave when you're under that paperwork a little more.
You leaving and have your stuff leaving.
Right. You got it ain't that easy. It's like, yeah, you can leave, but I'll see you in a little bit.
It's cheaper to keep it.
We'll meet again. Yeah. See, the reason why I asked you that because have you seen the difference between, or just recognized the difference between marriage and married people when you were maybe little and growing up compared to what you might see now? And if it is a difference, what differences do you see?
For one, disrespect.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah.
Like, for what? I don't know, for a woman to disrespect a man, it's like you can't come back from it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know it probably go both ways, but that's the man, that's the lead, that's the head. You know, you don't, especially if you're married, you don't disrespect your husband, especially not in public.
What type of disrespect are you talking about?
Talking crazy, talking loud,
Yeah.
you know, making a scene in front of people. Like, come on.
Yeah.
You ever been in that situation where, you know, it's like, y'all just on the way somewhere. Y'all arguing like crazy in the car on the way. And you have to have a really good relationship to be able to turn that off when you pull up to the place you get to and then walk in. Hey, this is
Like everything.
but a lot of people can't do that.
Yeah.
And see, it takes two people to know that, hey man, you know what? I'm in it for the long haul with this person. I would never put them out there like that because there's people out there that like they don't care. We finna carry the argument into the party, into the family get together, and that's when it get dangerous. That's when it get like, no, I can't be with a person who don't know how to shut it off. Because we can argue, then go in and do what we gotta do. We can get back in the car, we can crank it right back up. But there has to be a level of, like you say, respect and just respect for our privacy. You know, as some people they'll put everybody in your business. It's our business. You know, and you can't have that kind of emotional response like that.
Because you have people that stop liking them, and guess what? You still with them.
Right.
But they not gonna forget.
Right.
And then it make yourself look crazy. Yeah. You go in there, you talk to your friends all down about this person, and then next week you're right back on
their profile picture and saying, me and my baby, we in Cancun. Like, wait a minute, you just told me you hate that food.
Exactly.
Yeah. But that's emotional though. That's when we don't rise above it, but we get in the heat of the moment. And so now I'm gonna say all these things you in the heat of the moment that I can't take back. Now, you know, or I'm gonna go tell Keisto how messed up you are and how bad you are, or like you just said, I'm gonna go on my social media and do it.
Yeah.
Because they do that a lot of time for sympathy though.
Yeah.
Because what happens is when you put that post up there, all your friends, oh, it's gonna be all right. Don't worry about it. Yo, you better than that. God got something better for you. All of the cliche terms, and then, like I say, a day later, we back together. So that's why they tell people that are together to not talk their business, and they tell people on the outside of the relationship, don't be probing into nobody. You know, I don't care if man, it's my son, my best friend, hey man, I don't even really want to know.
Exactly.
Yeah. And if you telling me and coming to me from a point of asking advice, okay, that's cool. But don't come to me saying all this negative, evil stuff about your wife to me because, fool, I was just standing there with a tuxedo on as the best man a few months ago. So now you telling me all that. Now I'm going to be mad about the money I had to spend. But yeah, so we got to be careful in that, especially if you claim that this is somebody you want to be with for the long haul.
I think one of the things that if we get through any of this whole conversation, I think one of the major things is doing the work. Because I think a lot of times we've been so traumatized that we think the trauma is normal, and so therefore we don't think there's nothing wrong. And I think it's imperative that people need to do some kind of therapy, some kind of something, because we living with PTSD, and we don't even know how shell shocked we are. You know, and somebody who really cares for you and love you, they can see it. And then you tell them, just like you were saying, is there something wrong with me, or is it something I need to be doing? Because you can tell.
And you gotta want to help the person. You might not be the one that's messed up in the relationship. But you also will make it worse if I'm always, if you going through your thing, and I'm like, man, what's wrong with you, man? You got this nice house, man. What did you complain about? What's the problem? You know, and you like, man, it's bigger than that. I ain't even worried about that because everybody who's been through any kind of trauma, you know, with trauma has triggers.
Yeah.
So you don't know where that trigger might initiate from, and then we could be sitting there watching TV on the couch and you see something on TV that just mess you up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's wrong with you? You know, and I know how I have been. I'm going to the room. You figure I ain't done that.
I've gotten to the point where I've done that,
Yeah.
and that's a trigger.
Without a doubt. That's the wrong way to respond. Because what you say is, man, well, I ain't done nothing to you. So that ain't the point.
I be like, let me get out of here before I say something. Right. As soon as you leave, that's the trigger.
Right.
And you be like, oh shit, this is the trigger.
You can't win for the
now you want me to miss.
So the person who's messed up, they not the only one who needs some kind of therapy and training and all that. I have to know how. See, if you got a special needs child, you have to know how to fulfill those special needs. You have to be trained to know how to do that. So it's the same thing in relationships. Like, okay, if the person has been honest enough to tell you the type of stuff they've been through, and you don't get caught up in like, because man, look, we'll say what we want to say to just get what we want to get. So, I was just, my uncle molested me when I was little. My mama used to beat me. And you listen to all this stuff, and in the beginning, that beginning phase, you, oh man, that's messed up. I'm sorry to hear all that, you know. And in your mind, you still thinking, well, I'm gonna deal with it anyway, but you're dealing with it for different reasons. Not dealing with it to help her.
Yeah.
So now as it goes on and y'all become used to each other, you're not enamored and thrilled by the physical side, the sex and all that stuff. Now it turns into, you don't even want to hear that no more.
Yeah.
You know, now you was all ears in the beginning because you hadn't accomplished your goal yet. So, you know, it's a lot that goes into it, man. But I found too that a lot of people over 40, it's not really much of a difference in their maturity levels than people that are under. You know, it just because of how you came up and however your emotions are set up. You know, you got people that act like they 16 years old. You know, just grown. You know, never dealt with it.
And another thing, when you from a certain age, like 40, when do your standards start to adjust to you being 40? Like, cause certain people come in, like certain 40-year-old people coming in with the same standards they had when they was 21 or 22, and come on now, you know. When do we come down to realistically and say, okay, well, I'm 40, you know, he's whatever his age is. Let's sort of be realistic and meet each other in the middle somewhere. I don't need you to be being a CEO of $1 million company all the time, or I can't serve you the right way. I can't treat you as a king.
I never was in agreement with those kind of goals. I mean, like, and what I mean is, like, I'm not going to write down on a sheet of paper when I'm 14 years old, what type of wife do you want? She got to be a supermodel.
Yeah.
She got to have her own money. She got to be a million. I'm not writing that down.
Yeah.
I'm thinking more so of what I'm going to get along with, who I'm going to get along with. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, because, man, bro, you could be miserable with all of that. You know, person with the money and everything. They give you all this material stuff, but it's still a hole, man. If something ain't right, it's like, I ain't really feeling that, man. And then be in a situation, you can think back to times where you and your little girlfriend, y'all couldn't even buy a hamburger together, but y'all was happy as all outdoors, you know, because of how y'all's compatibility was set up, how y'all got along. What you got anything to add to that? How you think about it as far as just women or even men who say he gotta be making this, he gotta be making that? Is that a young trait or just an ignorant trait in some people? I
mean, I think it's an ignorant trait because, I mean, you may pass up the best thing ever for you, waiting on what you know, wrote down or what you thinking you want, because, you know what, my old boss, he had 2 girls, and, you know, he was a millionaire, and he said he's only training his girls so they reach men, and I said, why? Like, that's wrong. if the rich man beating them, you know, and stuff
Come on,
like
man.
you can't do that.
Yeah, that don't mean happiness is gonna follow.
That's
you.
corruption.
Yeah, right. Because they looking at security from just one aspect.
Right.
They looking at financial
Financial.
security. But what about the security of her peace of mind, security of her happiness?
Yeah.
You know, secure those things, secure the happiness. Now, it's not to say that you would encourage your daughter to be with a deadbeat,
Right.
a guy who's not doing that. But man, hey man, if Tyrone work at the gas station, man, he doing the best he can. He treat my daughter right. Hey, Tyrone, welcome to the family.
Right,
bro.
exactly.
You know, I ain't got no problems with you, Tyrone. You know, because just like you said, that millionaire be slapping your daughter around and stringing her out on dope and all kind of stuff, man. You know, but that's a good thing that we have, and because you're fighting against this music too.
Yeah.
That promotes that too. You know, go get you a rich man. Don't deal with no broke man. You know, all that. And man, it's hard, man. It's a competition because even a lot of these dudes, they listen to them songs like, oh, that's what they want.
Yeah, I'm not a man. Tell me this.
Let me level up so I can get. Because so they not even pursuing a female on the basis of the qualities that I was just talking about. The one pursuing.
Yeah.
They going after. Okay, I got the car now. Got the money now. Let me pull up and pick me what I want to pick from a visual.
Right.
Man, look at her, man. Look at her. Shh, I can get one of them now. One of them. It's not a person. It's a them.
One of them.
You know. So I mean, a lot of work to do, man.
And then you always look at it. It's more than one. It's more than just one currency that a man can provide. You know, the financial currency is one way too, but leadership currency, motivational currency.
Come on, man.
You know, inspirational currency.
Yeah.
Self-love. You know,
Moral support, advice.
Exactly.
Man, look, that same
Discipline.
female got a millionaire husband, and she could be messing around on the side with a dude that work at the car wash.
Exactly.
And he makes her so happy. The time she don't even want to leave him when it's over. You know, it's like she don't even want to go back to the rich dude, and vice versa, man. You know, and we don't condone none of that, but these are realities of life that's happening every day. You know, and as men, we become delusional. We get caught up in thinking that because all of the bills are paid, because we, you know, hey, look, I got your nice car, I got, you know, anytime you ask me, no, when you want to go shopping, don't I break out? We think that that's all that it requires.
Right.
And then be sitting around looking stupid, scratching our head when she ain't fulfilled or she goes off and do something different, man. I mean, I gave her everything. No, you didn't. You didn't give her everything, man. You know, at the root of the creation of a woman, she wants the abstract thing. She wants the love. She wants the moral support. She wants the security, the protection, like you said, the leadership. That's in her nature. You know, all that other stuff is cool, but she wants to lean towards her nature. A lot of our women have been disconnected so much from their nature to where they don't even know that is their nature.
Yeah.
So now this big argument about submissiveness and all that is at the forefront now, and a lot of women say, well, if I find the right man, I'll submit to him.
Right.
It don't work like that. You just can't just flip a button and then all of a sudden, like, I'm in submit mode.
Yeah.
I am ready to submit. It don't work like that. It's a process that has to be built up and understood, and a man has to qualify himself to be submitted to.
Yeah.
You know, Mr. Farrakhan, he said, if a woman sees God reflecting in you, her nature will naturally should submit to that, because how she was created, that's already something that's deposited in her. So when she recognizes it, boom, she's gonna gravitate towards it. You know, so. What do you think about the whole submissiveness argument? Because some women like, I ain't submitting to, you got me messed up.
I seen that clip where they was about to get married and he got to obey, and she stopped the whole wedding.
Do they still say that in the wedding?
Yeah, but no, the thing is, she stopped it. And the preacher said, you want to just skip that part? And she said, yeah, and he skipped it.
Right.
And I'm just like, but I mean, being submissive, I mean, I think that's an important role, you know, for a woman, because the man is supposed to be the head.
Yeah.
You know, and if he's in his role and doing what he's supposed to do, then I think you should be submissive
Fall
to
in
him.
line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
But let me ask y'all this. Do you think, because I know a lot of men that provide financially,
Right.
and that's it.
Right.
They not helping with the kids.
Right,
They
right.
not helping around the house. I mean, I don't care around the house part. I got that,
Right.
you know. But
Right.
some women are complaining because the man only provide financially.
That's a good woman. No, for real. No, because it should give a man a sense of relief and comfort to know that a woman don't just want me for the financial
Yeah.
aspect. See, because you, like we talked about earlier, you could have all of this stuff, but if she's still, okay, we got millions in the bank, we got cars, big house, can fly out anywhere we want to fly, and she's still saying, I just want to spend time with you.
Right, yeah.
That's a good woman. You know, and like I say, the guy's like, man, what are you complaining about? It's like, no, fool. She's explaining, she's showing you that this stuff is cool,
Yeah.
but her focus is on you. So yeah, man, that would be a big mistake for a guy to neglect that or miss that or not see that.
Yeah.
You know, when he go, I'm called Keith, man, she's always complaining about time. Man, I'm out here making this money. You know, when we had those conversations, because it is a balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, okay, well, yeah, baby girl, you do know I got to be out here getting my money. You know, oh yeah, I understand it, and most women understand it, but man, dude, come on, man, it's 24 hours in a day. And multiply that by 7, whatever it comes out to be in a week. You can't tell me that you can't find the time.
Yeah.
Because there's people that live under the same roof.
Yeah.
And can't find the time. You know what I'm saying? So that means you either are not tuned in to the understanding of the kind of woman you got, or you're doing some other stuff with your time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just the reality.
And that's another thing. Like, why do people get married if if you're not really ready?
Man,
And
look.
I say ready, meaning you're not.
You ready? You done in these streets?
Yeah.
Can I take your plate now, sir? You done? Let me get that plate. No, I got a few more.
That's another society pressure.
Yeah.
You know, they people looking at you at a certain age. What's going on with you? You ain't married yet?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Man, look, I got a homeboy. I never say his name. Just back in the 90s, though. So statute of limitations. Man, this dude told me, I think it was on a Friday. He said, man, I'm going to Hawaii. I'm getting married this weekend. And I was like, oh, that's cool, man. We in our 20s, though. So, but I ain't thinking, you know, I'm still young myself. Man, the dude goes to Hawaii, gets married. A week or so later, however long they was gone, we back on the basketball court. And we wrapping up. And he say, man, all right, man, I'm catching y'all later, man. I got this little chick I'm gonna go hook up with.
Yeah.
I say, did you just get married last week? And he looking like, yeah, like, what that mean? So to your point, why do it
Yeah.
if you're not ready? But to give the best version of an answer that I can think of is this. There's a lot of dudes out here that had this mindset like, okay, yeah, I love her. I love her. I'm gonna marry her. But I really don't want them to get married, but I don't want to lose her.
Yeah.
Because I've seen situations where a good woman will give a man an ultimatum. Like, hey man, look, I've been the woman you want me to be.
What we
but
doing?
I want this. I
Yeah.
want the ring. And rather than just say, well, no, I can't do it. He don't want to lose her. But he don't want to lose that lifestyle.
Yeah.
So that's why I see that a lot of times. But, you know, you got to make a choice, man, because it ain't fair, you know, to the person that you marry and just, I'ma still do me.
Yeah.
You know, just let that person have happiness somewhere else and get over you and move on, or gone on if you gonna make that step, go and do right. You know, it is what it is. Man. So you mentioned something that I can't lie to you, Esha. I hardly ever hear a woman say this, but you said it. She said a man is supposed to lead.
Yeah.
Boy, man, we pretty much preaching to the choir here today. But if we had the opposite, that is, boy, if I say that in the wrong area, hey man, it might be an all-out ride, man. What do you think has happened to just the prospect of men being in the leadership role which Keisto talked about. You know, he brought it all the way to scripture. Like, hey man, that's the order of things.
Yeah.
You said that you didn't have that kind of teaching and training. When did you come to that understanding? Like, the man is supposed to lead.
Probably being in church.
Yeah. Okay.
But I feel like a lot of women don't allow the men to lead.
Yeah.
Or they want to also take the role as I'm independent or I don't need you anyway.
Yeah.
But I mean, you here, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's needed. If you're gonna have a good household, you have to allow the man to be the man, you know, and you just fall back. It don't make you less of a person.
Right.
But, you know, fall in your lane, in your role.
Yeah.
How much do independent women have a problem with being interdependent with someone?
Yeah, interdependent.
Because I noticed that's like a...
Yeah.
Like, I want you to lead, but I'm leading this part too. I've been leading.
Yeah. Knocking heads because it's like you saying you want him to, but you trying to be there too. Just to let him know, if you don't, I got it.
Yeah.
You know, but that's not protocol.
I think that's too might come from their past experiences too, because a lot of times, if you always had to be the person to get it done, she may have been in a situation where her dude got locked up, or baby daddy never did nothing, so she was forced into that kind of role. So now that pattern has made her hardened to where this is my role.
Yeah.
And when that guy does come along, it's like, well, nah, you can relax. You ain't got to do all that. And just like we talking about with the music, it's the same thing in like relationships. You know, you have to, the first thing you have to do is grow into qualifying yourself to be a good partner. And then try to focus on finding somebody to match that level that you're on. You know, some of us don't even be qualified, and we laying it out about what kind of person we want. I ain't accepting this. I ain't selling. I'm like, fool, you the one they'll be selling if they choose you.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, we got to work on ourselves more and get more in tune with being better. And then, you know, look, man, you know, your big brother, I ain't no preacher, I ain't no minister, I'm just a regular dude from South Park. But one thing I do stand strongly on is a good relationship consists of 3, not 2. God has to be the head of your relationship. And if you are not involved in a relationship, but you seeking one, then you have to be the type of person who will pray that God was put the right person in your life. You know, we mess up a lot of times because we choose our order. Like, ooh, I'm choosing that based on that. Do a 360, my man. Yeah, that's all right now. Yeah, that's what I want in my life right there. So that, if we not focus on what God has for us, because He knows us better than we know ourselves. So what you think you want,
I have a type.
you got a type. I got a type, you know. And you know what? That's cool. You can have a type, but I think the type, the predominant aspects of your type should be based on those mental qualities. That's cool. You know, see, because usually when we say type, we think straight physical or financial. You know, he gotta look like he gotta be 6'2". You know, he gotta have a beard. You know, I love me with the beard, and he gotta be making at least. I need somebody that's established. But then they say, okay, well, what are you bringing to the table?
Right.
I'm bringing my fork and my spoon.
Me.
You know, so I mean, it's scary, but I think we're gonna get it together. I think we're gonna get it together.
I just think people need to really talk and like ask questions. Get to know somebody for real, because you know, just jumping into something because they look good or whatever, then that's when the relationship gonna go bad. Because I know, you know, my own relationship, I said, what I say? Okay, back when I was 25, whatever, I know I used to get mad and I ain't talking to you today, maybe tomorrow either. But that's him now at 43. And I asked, like, so I don't want to end the day mad or not talking, because you know, you never know what may happen or whatever, and that's negative. And he was like, well, I do it to teach you a lesson, or I'm petty, or but you're 43.
Yeah, well, my thing is, if a person tells you that they petty, you know, I mean, again, that's just another example of how age doesn't dictate or determine maturity. You know, it's like you'll be surprised. It's like, hey, you still acting like that?
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. That's something that you still, you know. So you know, we got to wake up to say, okay, you know what, you sure right. Maybe me and you ain't, you know, because I've kind of grown past it. I don't want to do that with you. We can't sit down and just talk. You know, you can just tell me what the real is, and maybe you need to hit the road, Jack. You know, and move around, man. Go ahead.
That's what I say. That's where personal growth got to be prominent. You know, it got to be a priority. Because like I always was brought up where every day is a school day. You know, you can learn something from somewhere every day of your life. And one thing we should know is how to conflict resolution is very much important. Because people don't even know how to argue these days no more. They just go 1 to 100. And throwing all kind of hateful bricks. You know,
physical.
Violence.
So it's like that part is learning how to control your anger. Learning how not let other people push your, you know, control you basically by their actions. So it's, I always thought the more grown you are is when other people can push your button so hard and you still don't return.
And thinking about another point on just the whole submissiveness level, you know, just saying to a lot of y'all dudes out there, man, you got to understand that sometimes you have to stop trying to do all the talking and just listen to what a woman has to say, you know, and whether it's listening to her express rational points of view and things that she want to talk about, or if it's just venting. You know, sometimes you gotta let somebody vent. You know, just let a woman vent and get out what she wants and just shut the hell up. You know, I know you want to jump in, but just wait. And try to listen to what she got to say and process it. If this is somebody you want to be with, you know, because we gonna fight for what we want to keep. You know, if it's get to the point where you just don't want it no more, you can tell because, you know, a person stops caring what you do. If I used to get upset when you got on a certain outfit and they're like, hey, you finna be wearing that? And if all of a sudden you walk out the door and I don't care no more, then it's the beginning of the end. You know, and women are the same way. There's certain things that they have a problem with, and if you say, hey, I'm just gonna hang out with the fellas, well, how the hell we going? Did she stop doing that? I don't know if I'm gonna hang out with the fellas. All right. I'll be back in 8 hours. All right. I might not call you for 8 hours. All right. So I mean, those little signs. Like you trying to test the water, like there's gonna be some women now. All right. Oh, you done. It's over. It's over, bro. It's over, man. And to women, I heard one of the greatest things I heard this sister say to me one time. We was having a conversation about submissiveness, and she said, women don't know that there's power in submission. You know, more so as opposed to trying to stand toe-to-toe with a guy, hollering, fussing, and cussing in his face to try to establish dominance or match his. I've seen times where a woman would just, even if she like in her mind, she like, man, this fool here talking crazy. Okay, baby. Okay, we're gonna see what you gotta do. And that submissiveness for the right type of dude will calm him down. He ready to go to war. But if he see you, if he come in and then he see you, not that you are, to use a word for a woman, not that you punking out, more so that you just saying, let me listen to what he got to say and let him take the lead on this, and I'm just gonna say, all right, baby. All right. So okay. Then he'll go, so because baby, what I was trying to say to you. Come on. He's not gonna flip out. You know, when a man feels challenged on his manhood and on his position as a man, that's when now we get ready.
It's inspiration in submissiveness. It'll inspire, man. Sometimes women don't even know how to inspire man, and sometimes that can just be it right there.
Man,
just allow me to be
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell y'all about my sentimental side. And sometimes you're right, man. You're right. I hate you saying that because it's gonna make me reveal something about you. Because what it is, you know, like I say, when you feel like, and I know women feel this way too. You've been in a tumultuous, chaotic relationship. Sometimes just coming home makes you like, all right, let me get ready.
Yeah.
I already know it's gonna go down when I hit this door. And then if you load it up like that and you ready for it, and then that person, they don't do it that day.
Yeah.
They like, oh shit. Then you kind of like, hey, you wanna go get some meat? Yeah. You change the whole dynamic now, like, because you was ready for war. So it's power in that submissive, showing that submissive side.
Yeah.
Because just like I spoke about the nature of a woman having it in her to where it will activate. It's the same with a dude. When you inject that into him, it's gonna release something in him to make it right. Man, we are scientific and mathematical creatures, man. There's a formula to what makes us work as men and as women. And no matter how low or ratchet our behavior gets, that formula is still in us if it's activated by the right person, or if it's worked out by the right person.
Right, yeah.
And when that happens, man, then you see transformation. So all the people you look at and say, oh man, ain't no hope. There ain't no hope for that person. We've all seen somebody we thought there was no hope for, and then years later it's like, that's crazy, man. I didn't think that nigga was gonna be alive. It's like, so it's the same thing, man. It's the same thing. That's why we should never condemn people.
Yeah.
You know, because we get so caught up in what's in front of you now, instead of looking beyond that to possibly see what that person can be down the line. Yeah, so we're here with Miss Esha Kay, and thankful that, you know, she put this idea in our head. It's taken on a bunch of different directions, but it has to do that to get to the understanding. Because in order to have, in my opinion, this is just me talking, in order to have a successful relationship moving forward, not that I'm an expert on it, but you still have to do your best to take the stepping stones to get to that point, to build your mindset, not the actions. Because you're going to go through some bad relationships, you're going to meet some messed up people, you're going to be a messed up person to somebody, but if you are improving the thought process on the way, whether it's their mistakes or your mistakes, then by the time you start getting older, like Kiso said, and like Esha said, you should be a different person.
Yeah.
You know, I get tired, man. Arguing and stuff like that, man. It beats me. It's like Houston Heat.
Right.
It just wears on you at the line. You just like, all right, man. I just don't want to argue no more. I don't want to fight no more, man. I'm just beat up, man. You know, and the difference between discussing something and just flat out arguing, you know, how do you think that? What would your advice be to people in terms of like dealing with disagreements with each other in a relationship? Because, like I said, there's a difference between an argument and talking, discussing something. We can discuss it passionately,
right?
But we ain't gotta be all in each other's face, you know, arguing like that.
Let one person talk. Let them finish. Don't interrupt. Like that's
the hardest thing in the world.
Yeah. But I tell somebody, me, don't interrupt me, and I won't interrupt you. Like that's respect.
Right.
And I think any relationship, you know, can be hashed out and, you know, and done in a good, positive way if you just let that person talk, and then, you know, you talk.
And let them talk without being loaded up to what you were gonna say.
Yeah.
Listen. Just listen. They talking. I'm gonna let you talk.
Right.
But in your mind, you just ready to say your next point. You got your next point loaded up. You know, listen, because whatever you had loaded up to say, if you listen to her, it might change what you're gonna say. Because you're gonna go, okay, I ain't think about that. All right, my bad.
Yeah.
Whatever the case is, man.
But people don't want to be wrong. Like this, man. It's a part of life.
Man, that's a big thing because people don't want to be wrong. People have this thing where, again, like you said, apologizing and admitting to being wrong is a weakness. It's a I lost. I lost the argument because I had to admit that she was right or that he was right. Nah, man, look, you can lose an argument in the process. It's nothing wrong with losing an argument in the process of trying to win your relationship.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to lose your relationship, but you won the argument.
Yeah.
You know, so that's a dumb way to approach things. If we are in competition, you know, in a relationship, then we're in a bad way.
Yeah.
In a bad way.
And sometimes men and women, they communicate different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Women a lot of times like to verbally communicate. Sometimes we communicate through actions.
Yeah.
You know? And so just learning how to listen to each other. And sometimes I've noticed in marriages that sometimes when she's talking to me, she's not even really talking to me. She's figuring it out in her head.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you know, look. He's a young guy, but he's the only married person on the panel. You know what I'm saying? So he's speaking from a whole different experience. You know, that was deep what you said though. You know, because we'll take it like, what I ain't did that. Like, I ain't talking about you. You know, I'm working something else out in my own mind. You know. But we got to get to know each other too, man. I think it's too many situations that I see where people been together for years and they don't even know each other. And that's like crazy.
It's crazy, yeah.
You know, or you could be with somebody and you realize they don't even know me. They don't know me because some of the things that you are accusing me of being my character, that ain't nowhere close to me.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, man, really? That's how you see me? But you know, but it happens, man. You know, it happens because, and I think it happens because we get into things for the wrong reasons, or we move too fast. We move too fast, man. You know.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. Y'all got anything else y'all want to add to the conversation? I think we done laid it out, man. It's been well spent. Hopefully, you know, something we said, you know, will make a difference in somebody's life that's watching this, man. I guess the last thing I would add to is just let your selection process be a little more detailed and be more patient in your selection process, because to me that is one of the biggest problems that we have. We move in for the wrong reason and we move too fast. We move too fast, whether it be just trying to buy your way in as a guy, or whether maybe female want to sex her way in, you know, if I give him some, you know, all these things are real things, man. And you know, a guy could really like you, and then you give it up too fast, and that changes his view of you, you know, because he gonna take it, he still gonna take it, but he gonna be like kind of disappointed because he's like, I thought she was a little more alone, but you know, well, let me go on and treat her like I'll treat her, you know. So you know, if you really want something, don't get it by the right means. Don't be willing to give up your character aspects to get what you think. That's not gonna keep a guy. That's not gonna keep a guy. And truthfully, your money ain't gonna keep a woman. You know, because there's a lot of cats with money out here. There's a lot of cats out here that will spend and all these different things. So it is what it is. Find somebody that's with you for the long haul, man. Yeah. Esha Kay, we appreciate you coming through.
Yeah, this was a good one.
Blessing us with some female wisdom, man, you know, because we still trying to figure it out, man.
There you go.
Especially him.
Yeah, I'm learning every day school day.
Every day.
I'm joking. I'm putting myself in that category as well, man. So, Underground Dialogue Podcast, where the name speaks for itself, man. You got any social media info you might want to put? You know, when people see that, they might want to start asking you for advice.
Speaking on some family.
Or you might be in trouble. You might be in trouble because a lot of women don't agree with our side.
I know.
Before, let me ask you, do you have that a lot of times when you talk to women and you express this side of it and they be, oh man.
Oh, all the time.
Oh, really?
All the time.
Really? Yeah,
I'm pretty much always the different one at the table. Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
And then, so my other question is, I never really thought that a man, and I'm saying a man because I'm a woman, a man should like be okay to cheat.
Yeah.
But I do know a lot of women that withhold.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I mean, if you withholding and
this show is not for the end right now. Okay, go ahead.
If you withholding, like the men have needs.
You know what?
Ain't nothing better than some mad sex. Anyway, go ahead.
No, hold that thought. But Back in the days, you used to watch TV shows, comedy shows, and then you'll see a situation where the wife may tell the husband, "Well, you sleeping on the couch tonight."
Yeah.
You know, or it's gonna be 2 months before you can, you know. And it's like in comedy, but I think somewhere along the line that has been taken into real life, where some women will say that the punishment for you doing whatever it is you did is, I'm going to withhold sex from you. Now, one of the main things that's wrong with that is implying that, okay, well, that is one of them, that's like the only thing, that's like the biggest thing for him in his mind.
Yeah.
And it's not, you know, unless you just got one of them kind of dudes that just built like that. It's like, dude, once you get old, when you young, that's what you say. When you get older, that bounces down the list a little, like, dude, because look, man, this light bill is pink.
Right.
So I ain't really thinking about this other pink right now, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, all right, look. So, but at the end of the day, I've always said that that's a mistake that a lot of women make, and I think that's a taught behavior. Somebody in one of them aunties or grandmas done told that, girl, what you do is, you know, nah, you don't do that. Because the same way, you know, married or not, as sad as it is, a woman has, you know, options to go, when a woman ain't getting that time, when she's feeling neglected. You know, baby, I gotta work, okay, well, you know what? That dude that I see at the gym all the time that keep jugging at me, you know, I'm gonna go call him tonight. You know, you never know, you can't get that comfortable. But now you don't withhold those favors from a man because my thing is this here. It will make me think something in my own mind. You know, like, okay, wait. So if you tell me you finna punish me by going a month without doing that, how you able to go a month? Yeah. That's what I'm be mind like, well, hold on, I know you. Yeah. So all of a sudden you can put me on punishment for 2 months. So I mean, so that's always dangerous. But to your point, it speaks to just like some dudes are gonna take it for a while. They're gonna simp out for a while. The other dudes gonna say, all right, okay. And just like I said, when the man tell the woman, hey, I'm gonna go hang out with the guy, he's like, okay. If she say, the day when she say, well, you just gonna have to wait 2 months before I give you something. If he go, all right. Man done flipped around. That's a bad thing. Yeah. So they y'all really say that, huh? They really be saying that, huh? And when has that ever worked? Has that ever worked?
That's what I'm saying. When did that ever work?
I don't know.
Maybe old school. Maybe I don't know.
I don't think it worked in old school. But granddad and them back in the day always had some side families. And mama was great back in them days. The woman was at home doing her thing, you know. So now, I mean, you know, that's a danger. That's a slippery slope. That's a slippery slope. All right, well, give me the social media info you got if you want to pass that along.
I almost said MySpace.
Whoa! You know, we said this relationship's on the party now. So, we come from that era now.
Nah, but Facebook is Esha Kay, ESHAKAY. Instagram is ESHAKAYJ, Esha KJ. So I'm pretty much Esha Kay across the board. On everything.
Yeah, man, y'all might need to get some relations. A lot of women, you know, need to hit her up because you know, she's giving y'all that unpopular game. You know, that reality that's needed, you know, from a woman's point of view. It's very unpopular in today's society because everything is based around that division. We're not gonna go anywhere without each other as black men and black. It's just not. The only place we're gonna go into oblivion. You know, if we don't get this thing together and stop falling for these industry tricks and stop falling for this agenda that's intentionally set up to make us hate each other. So, all right, man, this your big brother K Reno
and your boy Key Stove,
and this is the Underground Dialogue Podcast where the name speaks for itself. We'll catch y'all with another real soon. Peace and It's your big brother K Reno. And check this out, man. The Underground Dialogue podcast is offering advertising opportunities, man. You can promote your business, you can promote your video, your song, whatever it is that you have, man. Reach out to us if you're interested in promoting on the Underground Dialogue podcast. All you gotta do is email us at undergrounddialoguepodcast@gmail.com. Get it. And man, look, we got some merch that's gonna blow y'all mind. It's gonna blow y'all. When y'all see the merch, y'all gonna be wanting to just dive through the screen.
We got some coming for you, man. We building, man. We building. So watch that we grow.
Already.
I wonder if they ready. They ain't ready to have this conversation. Or these kind of conversations. But guess what? We gonna have them anyway. Underground dialogue. We gon' tell the truth. We ain't scared like a lot of y'all. Matters who they are. Do we bow? Not at all. Dropping bombs on this wicked world, so it gotta fall. Underground dialogue. We gon' tell the truth. We ain't scared like a lot of y'all. Matters who they are. Do we bow? Not at all. Dropping bombs on this wicked world, so it gotta fall. From the industry to the Oval Office, we expose the darkest motives of them all and disclose what the protocol is. Thinking and moving logical, stopping every maneuver possible, and apologizing for truth is not optional. We gon' help you with what you go through, reshape and mold you, and sweep over them weak lies they told you. If you living with no clue, we gon' deprogram the old you, and you get to keep your soul too.